Hey everyone, at survivalistprepper.net we're doing, a few of us are doing a survivalist challenge, and what we do is we send stuff to other people and have them test it out. Ian from the UK, who also just started his website prepare2survive.net, has sent me this wilderness, or this Yukon Outfitters hammock, and what he told me one of the challenges was it doesn't come with the straps. So one of the challenges is to make my own. So I decided to do that, and then the other challenge was to set it up, test it, and then test it overnight. So this one I haven't gotten a chance to go up to the woods yet, so we're just going to set it up out here in my backyard, see how it works. Now my main plan was to see how it worked with just if I could get this done with the stuff in my bug out bag. And it showed me a few weaknesses. One of those were I didn't have enough paracord continuous length to do this. What I did basically was take 100 feet of paracord and double it over, so quadruple it so it's 4 strands, and then just tie overhand knots in it about every 6 inches or so. But I didn't have enough of that in my bug out bag, one continuous strand, so that was a weakness. Another weakness is that the carabiners, and I kind of knew that this was a weakness, but I just never got around to it. But the carabiners are not weight bearing. They're enough to hang my bag, you know, from a tree or something, but that's about it. So I thought maybe I could use 2 of them together, and then I figured I didn't want to be the guinea pig for that, so I'm not going to do that. What I ended up doing was getting a couple rock climbing carabiners that are actually made for that. So with that, I'll show you how I plan on setting this up, and then we're going to see if it works. Ian, just so you know, if I end up falling on my butt or my or anything, I'm not going to put it in the video. So let's get this hooked up and we'll see how it works. Alright, before we get into the actual hanging the hammock part, I wanted to show you how these straps are theoretically supposed to work. What you do is take the end with the loop around it right here and throw that around the tree, and then take this other end with the knots, the end of it right here, and kind of put it in the direction you want it to be facing, where the hammock's going to be, and then tighten that, and theoretically it should have enough force on that. And I know I've heard that you're supposed to use the actual straps because it damages the tree. These are in my yard, so not too worried about that. And then once you find the distance, that's why these knots are here, once you find the distance that you need to get to the right level, and you just throw that carabiner on and it hooks up to the hammock. So we'll see how well that works, or if I end up on my butt or not.
Okay, so instead of making you sit through 6 minutes of silence here, I'll explain to you what I'm doing. I've got that first strap on from the part I just showed you in the video, and then I'm putting the second strap on. And this is about 16-17 feet apart, and it's actually a little bit too close. I thought it was going to be a little bit too far, but actually once you see everything put together, it's a little bit too close. The cool thing about this, the hammock itself, is it's all in a self-contained pouch. The only thing that's separate from the actual hammock is the string for the mosquito net that you'll see here in a minute. But it's pretty cool because everything's right there. It's small. You know, it would take up quite a bit of room in your bug out bag, but it is pretty light. So it might even be a good thing to have in your bug out bag because it takes up space without that weight. So it makes it to where you can't use up that space with something that weighs a lot. What I did was just hooked up, there's a U-bolt at the end of each end of the hammock, and I just hooked that onto the hiking carabiners that I got. And then just adjusted everything. I cut a little bit of that out so you didn't have to sit through it, but just adjusted everything. You want to make it to where the hammock is basically straight. And this is the first time I'd done this, so the first time I did my adjustments, it was a little low and I ended up on the ground. So if you've never done anything like this before, you might end up with the same problems. It might take a little bit. And then this string is it's like a bungee cord type string that goes around. There's 6 little holes on 3 on each side of the hammock itself that you thread that through. And I did this, when I put it on the tree, this is really just kind of for the video. I didn't do it really well. So if you're, if you're in any kind of wilderness situation, or you're actually using this where there might be some wind or anything like that, you're going to have to fasten it a little bit better than I did it. But I just did it for the video here. So I put the first 3 on the inside, and then I'm putting the second 3 on the outside, just to kind of raise that. It didn't really, I would do it differently next time, basically. Maybe have it be a little more spread out. I ended up having to raise the hammock a little bit too, so it's a little bit loose, but all in all, it works. And then, like I said, I had to raise it a little bit, because when I first sat down in it, I went all the way to the ground, and that kind of defeats the whole purpose, basically. So I raised both sides as much as I could, and then it actually worked out pretty well. All in all, I've never been a hammock person, so I've never actually taken a hammock out. So this is actually a pretty cool thing. This will be coming with me, on camping trips, and if I can figure out a good spot to keep this in my bug out stuff or even a car kit, anything like that. This is something that's really easy. Took about 5 minutes, and the first time I've ever done it, took about 5 minutes to set it up. So really easy, a lot easier than, say a tent or something like that. This is only one person, but in a get home situation, bug out situation, that might be, you are going to be on your own. So all in all, I think this is pretty cool, and it keeps you away from the bugs with the mosquito net and off the ground, and keeps the creepy crawlies away from you. But I think this is, for what it is, I think this is pretty cool as far as weight and everything. Take your supplies with you. I even used one of my cheap carabiners to hang my bag and my knife, and it all worked out pretty well. I could see sitting out there for a while. We'll see here in a little bit. I'm going to try to spend the night in it, and then later on I'll spend a few hours in it, see if I can actually take a nap or something like that. But that's it. The Yukon Outfitters, the hammock is pretty cool. It gets a thumbs up in my book, and I appreciate Ian sending me that, and look forward to the next challenges.